Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the West Virginia University Eberly College of Arts and Sciences graduating class of 2010. And now, led by our Grand Marshal, Mary Strife, please welcome former Student Government Association President Jason Parsons, Dr. Carolyn Long, Chair of the West Virginia University Board of Governors, Dr. James Clemens, President of West Virginia University, and our keynote speaker and honorary degree recipient, the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to stand for the singing of our national anthem, sung by the University Choir under the direction of Jeffrey Blake Johnson. Seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences commencement ceremony as West Virginia University celebrates its 141st commencement exercises. I am Rudolph Almasi and I have the privilege of serving as the Dean of the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences. Our college is the heart of WVU and is the university's largest and most diverse college with over 60 different degree programs. On behalf of the college, I welcome our graduates, our faculty and administrators, and our family and friends to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2010. You have, as individuals, all kinds of goals and even dreams, and your college, its dean, and its faculty are sending you out into the world where you can begin to realize those dreams. With your degree, you have been educated for lifelong learning, prepared to accomplish in time whatever you choose in life. In a country and a world fraught with serious challenges, it is now up to you to determine your future. And I am confident that you will indeed move forward, for through the knowledge you have, the skills and values you have developed, you have been connected to the past and you speak across cultural differences. You have the capacity for critical inquiry and understanding. You give me confidence when I think about tomorrow. You are this country's future, and I salute you for your accomplishments, applaud your fortitude and determination that brought you to this wonderful day, and I wish you all the best. We are very proud of you as graduates and the diversity of thought you have brought to our college and our campus. Please allow me to share a few statistics with you about your graduating class. The Eberly College has 1,354 students graduating. These candidates represent 1,084 bachelor's degrees, 227 master's degrees, and 43 doctoral degrees. Of the undergraduate students, more than 30% will graduate with honors based on your high grade point averages. Of this graduating class, 52 are women and 48 are male. And the Eberly College was the choice of 72 international graduates representing 37 foreign countries. Of those receiving degrees today, the youngest is 20 and the oldest is 67. That, of course, proves that youth are definitely driven, why us older students show tenacity and prove the concept that one is never too old to learn. So we in the Eberly College are proud of all of our graduates, and we are confident that you will make the most of your degrees from the college and from WVU. So please join me in congratulating the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences class of 2010. With us are several distinguished guests and alums, including members of the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission, members of the West Virginia University Board of Governors, and the university senior leadership. Academic officers of the Eberly College are also in attendance, and so I ask all of you, and the associate deans and the assistant deans and the chairs, to rise and be recognized. Thank you. And so important to the completion of your degrees as graduates of the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences, I'd like to ask all the faculty to stand and be recognized. Few of us achieve the victories we do alone, and this is especially true for students. You who have had a pokeful of challenges, stresses, and complications as you have worked hard for this day. You have needed the involvement, indeed the love and concern of your parents, family, friends, and other significant people in your lives. As a parent whose daughter also graduated from West Virginia University, I understand the sacrifices that are required from those family and friends, and it is time to show our appreciation to them. And so I ask parents and family members and special friends of our graduates to stand and be recognized. Okay, now listen up. As we move forward with our program, I would ask that everyone remain seated throughout the ceremony out of respect for our graduates. Oh, please make sure those cell phones are turned off. And let's see if our graduates can refrain from texting for a couple of hours. Can you do it? Can you do it? Thanks. It is now my pleasure to introduce James Clements, President of West Virginia University.
Thank you, Dean Al Macy. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very special occasion for WVU and the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences. and a great honor for our campus to host today's keynote speaker, the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. President Clinton's tireless and effective humanitarian work is inspiring and truly embodies the concepts of lifelong learning and service that our land-grant university cultivates. Above all, I am proud that one of our very own students made it possible for President Clinton to visit our campus. That story shows the way WVU students start living their dreams even before they graduate. Jason Parsons, who came to WVU from a small town in Boone County, West Virginia. Jason went on to serve as student body president. While campaigning for Hillary Clinton in 2008, Jason met President Clinton. Since then, Jason has become actively involved in the Clinton Global Initiative University, which is engaging the next generation of leaders on college campuses and around the world. That involvement helped Jason to do things he would not have dreamed possible while he was growing up in Seth, West Virginia. Jason's perspectives give him a special affinity for President Bill Clinton, who also came from the small town of Hope, Arkansas. And he took initiative, and he developed confidence to fulfill big dreams and to literally change the world. To share his story, please welcome Jason Parsons.
Thank you very much, President Clements. Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor to welcome President Clinton today. I want to talk about my story and talk about why I believe we can derive inspiration on this special day from his story. Yes, he was the president who created 23 million new jobs, lifted millions from poverty, led us to the longest period of peacetime prosperity. But his journey that we are prepared to embark upon is not much unlike ours. Most of us here, the students, and many in the audience have traveled a long journey in our lives. And tonight, today, rightfully celebrate this moment. We are honored to do it with our families and our friends, our loved ones, and with the 42nd President of the United States of America. For me, the journey to here began on Route 3. A little country road that weaves through the southern coal fields of West Virginia. There, I grew up in a little country house along that little country road. I always believed that that road could take me anywhere I wanted to go so long as I was willing to work for it. It's the notion that we can be the creators of our own future, that we can be the stewards of our own destiny, that where we come from has no bearing on where we are going. It's a notion that President Clinton knows a lot about. When he left office nearly a decade ago, we would have well understood if he said, "My fellow Americans, I've given my service, I've served 2 terms, I've been the governor of my home state, I'm going to go home and play a little golf and take it easy for a while." But he didn't do that. Instead, we have watched as he went on to become one of the world's greatest humanitarians. We watched with pride as he led the way for tsunami relief in Asia, Hurricane Katrina, the Haitian earthquake. We watched as last summer he went to North Korea and brought home the 2 Americans being held captive there, and we owe him a debt of gratitude. He also created the Clinton Global Initiative. Please, go ahead. He deserves it for that. Thank you, President Clinton. He also went on to create the Clinton Global Initiative, the CGI, which brings together businesses and governments and even young people like you and I to talk about and contemplate, to believe in, work toward, and create a better future. Here in the great state of West Virginia, we have created the Children's Literacy Initiative as a commitment with the Clinton Global Initiative University, as a way to put books in the hands of kids in our most rural places, places like Route 3. We did it because to so many of us and to me, books were special growing up. It was a way to dream and a way to think about our future, a way to dream about this special day, a way to hope. And so today I am honored, and we are all honored, that he is with us. Before I move forward, I want to share a quick story with you. In the early days of West Virginia, all across our great state, in the valleys and the hollers and the hills, it wasn't uncommon for people to share a common woodpile. There were two rules. The first rule was you could never play with fire around the woodpile because the whole thing might go up in flames. The second rule, the most important rule, was you should always give more to the woodpile than what you take. That way, if your community experienced a flood or some sort of natural disaster, an unusually harsh winter, then together, as one community, you could make it through. Isn't that the mountaineer spirit that we've learned? That we should always give more than what we take. Think about the people who have invested in us. Isn't that how public service should be? Isn't that how we should live our lives? Isn't that how we should move forward from this day with all the pomp and circumstance to dedicate ourselves to giving more to the woodpile? Isn't that the example of President Clinton? And so I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that this great place, West Virginia University, has given me and you the chance to live our dreams and to begin to make new dreams and prepare to live those. I'll never forget, I was sitting in an audience much like this before I had ever met President Clinton, and I heard him tell a story that touched my heart. I don't remember all of it, I must confess, but I do remember the key. And the key was, he talks about the work his foundation does in Africa, and when people pass each other there, instead of saying hello, they say, "I see you." And then when I was writing what I wanted to say today, I thought about all the people who have seen us since we've been here. I think about the people of Haiti who he has seen. And I think about how grateful we are. And on this day, we can commit ourselves to follow his inspiration, regardless of our politics, regardless of where we come from, and we know we're going somewhere. What we do know, what I know, is in our lifetimes, I truly believe, we will be hard-pressed to find a president or a former president who has given more to that woodpile, who has done more to advance the causes of peace and prosperity, freedom and hope than William Jefferson Clinton. So I thank this university for the opportunities I've had, and I present to you again the president of WVU, Dr. Jim Clements. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. At each commencement exercise, the university confers honorary degrees to distinguished individuals in recognition of their outstanding achievements. This honor conveys the pride the university takes in those who use their education and abilities to improve people's lives. The man we are honoring today has reached the very pinnacle of American government and global outreach. To continue our honorary degree presentation, please welcome Dr. Nigel Clark, WVU Faculty Senate Chair and Professor, and George Berry Chair in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, as President Clinton accepts his honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
William Jefferson Clinton was the first Democratic president in 6 decades to be elected twice, first in 1992 and then in 1996. Under his leadership, the country enjoyed the strongest economy in a generation and the longest economic expansion in U.S. history, including the creation of more than 22 million jobs. After leaving the White House, President Clinton established the William J. Clinton Foundation to help people throughout the world meet challenges of global interdependence. Today, the foundation has staff and volunteers around the world working to improve lives through several initiatives, from helping people with HIV have access to life-saving drugs to applying for a business-oriented approach to fight climate change. As a project of the foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative brings together global leaders to find innovative solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems. In the US, the foundation is working to combat the alarming rise in childhood obesity through the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, and is helping individuals and families succeed and small businesses grow. In addition to his foundation work, President Clinton has joined with President George H.W. Bush 3 times after the 2004 tsunami in South Asia, Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and Hurricane Ike in 2008 to help raise money for recovery efforts, and served as the UN envoy for tsunami recovery. Building on his long-standing commitment to Haiti as president and through his foundation, President Clinton was named UN Special Envoy for Haiti in 2009. Following this year's devastating earthquake, President Clinton dedicated Clinton Foundation resources to help with immediate relief and long-term relief and assistance, and at the request of President Obama, joined with President George W. Bush to establish the Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund, which supports highly effective organizations on the ground in long-term rebuilding efforts. President Clements, I present to you William Jefferson Clinton.
President Clinton, in recognition of your distinguished career and preeminence as a national and global leader, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. In testimony thereof, I hand you this diploma and cause you to be invested with this hood. At this time, President Clinton, I would like to ask you to please sign the West Virginia University Honorary Degree Book, which is our official historical record of all esteemed individuals who have received honorary doctorate degrees from West Virginia University. This weekend, President Clinton joins WVU alum and editor of the American Journal of Nursing, Dr. Diana Mason, and former WVU interim president and higher education leader, Dr. C. Peter McGraw, in receiving an honorary degree. And now, would you please welcome President Clinton to address the class of 2010.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Clements, Dr. Long, Dean Macy, all the members of the faculty and staff. I want to thank the graduates, their families and friends for giving me a chance to share this special day with you. And I offer a special word of thanks to my friend Jason Parsons for that wonderful statement. We became friends in 2008 during the campaign season, and we've remained friends since. And I'm grateful for his involvement in our Global Initiative University. I love West Virginia. When I first came here, when many of the graduates were not even in kindergarten, when I was running for president in 1992, the most recent census said that my native state of Arkansas and West Virginia had one thing in common. We had the highest percentage of people living in the state who were born there. And while we are benefiting from diversity and people coming from other states and other lands to your university and to my native state, I think it says something about how much the people who live here love the place and believe in it and care about its roots and traditions. In 2008, my wife, my almost 91-year-old mother-in-law, and my daughter all celebrated Mother's Day in West Virginia in the little town where the holiday was born. And I always loved coming back here. I cheered for you in the NCAA basketball tournament after I lost my Georgetown team. So I've already had two big thrills today. I got a degree, and before the service, I got to talk with Deshaun Butler. One of the things that I learned today that I did not know, which makes me admire you even more, is according to the president, and I know he's got his facts right, the West Virginia basketball team ranks in the top 10 in America in the percentage of its players who get degrees, and every senior on the football team is getting a degree in this graduation ceremony. I looked over the degrees that were being awarded today. Degrees in biology, chemistry, physics, math, and literature, psychology, criminal justice, national security, political science, social policy. They all have in common one thing. In different ways, to be sure, but all together, they are preparing you to play a significant role in not only your own future, but the future of your state and the future of your nation. And for some of you, the future of the larger world. I also noted when preparing to come here that West Virginia has a Center for Citizens or Civic Engagement, in which almost 13,000 students gave more than 182,000 hours of volunteer service in the past year. That, too, is an important part of your future. One of the things that I learned after I left office is that in many ways the work that I had spent my life doing had just begun. Because there's always a gap between what the private sector can produce and the government can provide. A space in which dreams are broken and needs go unmet unless citizens step in. The heritage of people volunteering to solve problems on their own is very old in America. It goes back to before our Constitution was ratified. Even before we were one United States, Benjamin Franklin organized the first volunteer fire department in Philadelphia. When Alexis de Tocqueville wrote Democracy in America in 1832, he said the main difference between the United States and every other country he had visited is that when problems went unsolved for a long time, in other countries, people just tended to complain until the government did something about it or didn't. In America, he says, they complained for about a week, and then they organized a new group and solved the problem. When I was your age, the definition of good citizenship was to get as much education as you could, and when you go to work, work hard and earn the money you're being paid. Be honest, pay your taxes. If you have a family, be a good parent, and cast an informed vote at election time. Now we know that in this world, for reasons I will explain, there must be one element added to that good list. We also have to do what we can as private citizens to tackle public problems and advance the public good. The world you live in is utterly fascinating. It is, in many ways, by far the most interesting time in human history. It is so full of exciting developments. There's so much more access to information, virtually instantaneously. When I became president, believe it or not, there were only 50 sites on the entire World Wide Web. There have been more than that added since I started talking. The average cell phone when I became president weighed 5 pounds. Now people with big hands have a hard time dialing numbers. It's an exciting time. They're accelerating scientific discoveries. Near the end of my presidency, we sequenced the human genome for the first time. And the biomedical advances that will come out of that will be truly staggering. We're learning a lot of humbling things from being able to trace our lineage. We have learned, many of us, that we had relatives we didn't know we had. And last week we learned that all of us have between 1% and 4% of our genomic makeup inherited from Neanderthals, our non-human ancestors. Things are really exciting if you're in a position to take advantage of them. But all this change is really tough on some people, including a lot of the people who worked their hearts out to get you to this moment today. Because change falls unevenly in our country and in our world. And for all of its benefits, the time you live in is highly unstable and unequal and unsustainable. You see the instability in many ways. The financial crisis starts in America, all of a sudden it engulfs Europe. And then it spreads to other places. Terrorism has exposed us to dangers between 9/11 and the thwarted car bomber in Times Square, but also has struck as far away as Bali in Indonesia and Spain and the United Kingdom, in the Middle East, everywhere. If you take the barriers down so we can all move around figuratively and in cyberspace, people who wish to do destructive things can move in that space too. We see the instability in our ever-increasing thirst for energy manifest even in the 21st century. There are still tragedies in coal mines here in West Virginia and across the world in Asia just in the last couple of months. And we have that horrible oil leak off the coast of Louisiana. This is also a highly unequal time. Before the financial meltdown, 2/3 of the families in America had after-inflation incomes that were lower in 2008 than they were the day I left office, because our economy was not producing enough jobs. And the cost of health care had doubled, Around America, the cost of higher education had gone up 75%. And in the larger world, half the world's people live on less than $2 a day. Before I went to work in Haiti after the earthquake, 70% of those people were living on less than $2 a day. And there are lots of other manifestations of this. This is not a good strategy for maximizing the potential of your future. If you think about all the different backgrounds that all of you brought to this place today, if you think about all the different family stories that are represented in this gym, one of the things we know is that intelligence is evenly distributed. And so is the willingness to work, but opportunity is not. And we have to deal with it. When I was getting ready to come out here, I went in and got my robe in the locker room of the women's basketball team. And on the wall there was a sign that said that everybody has to make one big decision: to accept things as they are or to accept responsibility for changing them. I want you to think about that today in terms of all the opportunities that are before you and all the background noise of all the problems that exist. And I know there are people here whose families have suffered economically in this downturn and were struggling before. I know there are people here who understand that the structure of opportunity is not evenly available to all people who come to this country or who were born here, and that the world is not working for everybody. Now, there are two responses to that, and you can see them both in America today. The first response is, I am sick and tired of this. I just want the ground to stop moving under my feet. Stop the world. I want off. I thought about that the other day when the Virginia legislature passed a bill saying they wanted to bring back Confederacy Month, and the governor endorsed it without mentioning slavery. Did they all become racist overnight? No, that's not what was going on. They were playing to the anxiety of people who are scared to death in the modern world, and they can't make sense of it. They don't feel that they have a place to stand. They were saying, stop the world, I want to get off. In Arizona, where they passed that new immigration law, there are two sheriffs along the border. One of them loves the law because he says, there's something wrong. We can't control things anymore. The other guy says, I arrest more illegal immigrants than anybody. I'm against the law because the law says now we have to go up and rustle up all the legal immigrants and make them show their papers. We're treating them different than any group of immigrants in America who are here legally. I want to figure out how to make this work. Those two sheriffs are portraits of the debate going on inside the heads of millions and millions and millions of your fellow citizens. There's a big problem with the stop the world I want to get off. Number one, you can't stop the world. And number two, you can't get off. The world we live in is interdependent. It just means that everything we do affects somebody else around the corner or across the globe. And if you can't stop it and you can't get off, then you have to learn to live with confidence in the face of change. And you have to help people who never had the opportunity to sit where you're sitting today to do the same. You have to do it by, thank you. You have to do it by the work you do. When you leave here, if you can figure out a way to burn coal without putting carbon dioxide in the air, and there's only three ways to do it. You have to bury it, or you have to use probably nanotechnology to change the chemical composition of carbon dioxide, or you have to take it right from the burning and plow it into plants, as they're trying to do at Arizona State University. They're putting it into algae, putting the algae on steroids and releasing clean oxygen. If you do that, then you can continue to mine coal and you won't hurt the world. If you're doing it, you're not trying to stop the world, you're trying to live with confidence in the face of change. If you're working on more efficient engines and alternative fuels, you're doing that. If you came here to study the program in Homeland Security, you're doing that. How do we maintain freedom of movement and still recognize that our biggest security threats are not from other countries, but from people who can just move around and do harm? You're helping to keep the world going. If you're working in the biological sciences, you're doing that. Most of the jobs we can create in this country in the next 5 to 10 years will probably come from changing the way we produce and consume energy. Most of the jobs beyond that, for the 10 years beyond, I believe will be generated out of advances in biological sciences being driven primarily by the sequencing of the human genome. And there's lots to do. But if I could just put it in a sentence, I think this is the best I can do. If you reject the stop the world theory, and you say you want not only your life, but the lives of your parents and your friends and our country, and increasingly people throughout the world, to be lived with confidence in the face of change, then we all have to be in the future business. And that's the one little catchphrase that will encompass nearly everything. You think about everything America has to do. The future business in the economy means we got to create jobs again. We have to bring manufacturing back to America again. We have to figure out how to get the banks so they'll loan money again. There's $1.5 trillion in America's banks. They could make $10 trillion of loans tomorrow, and all this economic trouble will be over in a nanosecond. If you're talking about health care, we have to figure out how to stop spending $1 trillion a year more than we would spend if we had any other country's healthcare system for a system that doesn't make us more well than our competitors are. The bill that passed, I think, was a good first step, but only the beginning. If you're talking about education, you have to figure out how to bring the benefits of education to people who don't come into colleges and universities. I think the changes in the student loan program to cut the interest rate costs and let people pay back as a percentage of their income, their college loans, is a big advance. It means now you can be a teacher, you can be a police officer, you can be a nurse, you can go in to teach for America, you could go into AmeriCorps, the Peace Corps, and you won't go broke because you know that your obligation will never exceed a certain percentage of your income. But we can't keep increasing the cost of higher education 75% a decade after inflation and expect to empower more and more people to do this. If you're talking about our finances, we have to find a way to regulate investment so that America is still an attractive place for people to invest their money, but we don't let these institutions get leveraged at 34 or 35 to 1 and let people just gamble with money with no stake in the outcome. That's what happened with the home mortgages. The people who issued the mortgages got rid of them and then had no stake in whether the people could stay in their homes or not. If you're talking about the wider world, the poor countries have a totally different problem. We have to reform our institutions. They have to build theirs. But if you will just think about in your work, in your citizenship, and in what I hope will be your service, everything we do should be about putting ourselves in the future business and about turning our good intentions into real changes. There's room here for a conservative versus liberal debate, a Republican versus Democrat debate, any debate you want. But we all have to understand that we are in this future together. And I leave you with this thought. To me, the most important finding that came out of the sequencing of the human genome is that we are all 99.9% the same. And then an independent group had a big breakthrough, and they said, a couple of years after this, said, oh, no, we're not. We're only 99.5% the same. Now, to be fair, as every biologist in the audience knows, 0.4% is a very significant number since there are 3 billion elements in the human genome. But from a psychological and social point of view, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. If you think about it, you look around this audience, every difference you can see, gender, skin color, hair color, eye color, size, shape, the whole shebang, every non-related difference you can see in each other is rooted in somewhere between 1/10 of 1% and 1/2 of 1% of your genetic makeup. Does that mean that identity is not important? No. You should still be proud of being from West Virginia. You can still root for your teams. You should be proud of your racial and ethnic heritage. But it means that in an interdependent world where you can't stop the world, you can't get off, and you can't escape each other, the only way to celebrate what is unique about your life is to recognize that what we have in common matters more. If the world can come to that recognition, we're going to be fine. What happened to that poor, disturbed Pakistani American who went back to Waziristan, that area that has never been under the control of the Pakistani government, and learned how to make a car bomb, and came back here and tried to set it off after he had gotten 2 degrees in the United States, married a woman who got a degree in the United States, had an opportunity to become a homeowner, and then his life got off track? What made him think that somehow he could redeem the disappointments of his life by setting off a car bomb in Times Square? He was convinced that our differences were more important than our common humanity. Important enough to die for and to kill for. Let me tell you something, folks. One thing I've learned now, some 42 years after my own college graduation, life passes quickly enough as it is. There's enough adversity in it as it is. It will be over before you know it. You need to make the most of it, have a good time doing it, but be rooted in an understanding of the time in which you live. You are so lucky. I'd give anything to be your age and run it all through again in this era. It's a great time, but you got to make the most of it. You got to put America in the future business. You have to take some time to serve as well as to do the rest of your life. And you have to do it with the absolute conviction that you are free to appreciate what is truly unique and wonderful about your own life, because you live in a country in which our common humanity matters more. And you have to take that idea and spread it to everyone who doesn't believe it and across the world. If you do, it's going to be great. Do not be pessimistic. People have been betting against the United States since the American Revolution. You ought to go back and read all the people who said poor George Washington was nothing more than a mediocre surveyor who never really won a battle and didn't even have a good set of false teeth. The people who said Abraham Lincoln was a buffoon and we'd be better off if something happened to him. People have always bet against this country. We have always come back because we wound up doing the right thing. In this time, for you, the right thing is to get in the future business and stay there. To tell people why we can't stop the world and help them to live with confidence. And to recognize that as glorious as our diversity is, our common humanity matters most of all. God bless you and good luck.
On behalf of West Virginia University, I'd like to express my thanks to President Bill Clinton for joining us today. Mr. President, it was very kind of you to make time to speak to our Eberly College graduates. You could have been many places today, but today you chose to be a mountaineer. Thank you. For our graduates, President Clinton's life story demonstrates that anything is possible when we believe in our ability to make a difference. Jason Parsons shares the same hunger to improve people's lives, and I have no doubt that the education he is receiving here will help him do just that. Many of WVU's alumni have found that their education launched them to incredible heights. One such alum is Loretta Uselli, who came to WVU from Staten Island, New York. She left our campus with a degree in journalism and the confidence that she could achieve anything. Her many accomplishments include serving as the communications director in President Clinton's White House. As Loretta has said, students leave WVU with a sense that no matter who you are or where you come from, nothing can hold you back. Graduates, I hope that each of you will take that message to heart. I can't wait to see where the journey, which began right here at WVU, takes you, and how the tools you received help you make your mark on the world.
Loretta, why don't you stand up? Communications Director. And so thank you, President Clinton and Clemens. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the University Choir conducted by Jeffrey Blake Johnson, who will sing My Home Among the Hills, composed in 1963 in honor of West Virginia's centennial celebration by Clarksburg native, Mr. E.W. James.
Hurry home.
At this time, I asked Dr. Fred King, Associate Dean for Graduate Studies and Research, and Dr. Joan Gorham, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs for the Eberly College, to come forward and assist with the diploma distribution to degree candidates. And our readers today are Dr. Catherine Carriger, Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Education, and Dean Tina Lavelle, Associate Dean for Financial Management for the Eberly College. And I invite Dr. Clements to join me for the presentation of degree candidates.
Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and Biology, Bridget K. McMullaney. Masi Udin Ahmed. BS Biology, Kristen Noel Armstrong. Erica Lynn Arthurs. Chelsea Ann Ayers. Jamie Rodrigo Arez. Tamara Tyre Barghouti. Tyler Shaw Biedick. Jacqueline M. Boyzik. Lauren Elizabeth Branch, double major. Kenneth C. Coleman, also biochemistry biology. Samuel Vincent Crowell. Chad Thomas Dean. Elizabeth Joanna Irvin. Alexander John Irvin. Ashley Marie Fairley. Kayla Noel Hager. Stephanie Allen Harris. Ashley B. Henderson. Lamia Ismail. Amanda Kate Hill. Jonathan M. Hiltz. Paul J. Holden. Peter Carmu. Jonathan Caleb King. Stephanie Knittel. Catherine Elise Larimer, also BA in Philosophy. Lenice M. Lewis. Amy Nicole Long. Bradley Marple. Patricia Matthew. Benjamin James McCormick. Andrew Allen McHugh. Molly Claire McDowell. Caitlin Ann McGraw. Cynthia Marie McMillan. Trita Mohan. Michael Molino. Lauren Narciso Morris. Andrew Dolphus Myers. Troy Mislevic. Lisa A. Painter. Megan Ann Parker. Christopher William Phillips. Carol Lynn Pichowski. Sawan Prabhu. Alexandra Holly Reynolds. Anthony Mohammed Ruthali. Chelsea Ray Root. Jake Ross Rubenstein. Jason E. Roosh. Amanda Kimberly Schmidt. Eric J. Seacrest. Manali Nilesh Shah. Brianna James Shiley. Chelsea Morgan Slack. Hassan Ali Sleeman. Allison Jean Smith, also BS Biology, Psychology. Samantha K. Stefanov, also a bachelor's in multidisciplinary studies. Courtney Marie Stevens. Megan Ann Tizano. Anastasia A. Toth. Jawad Zafar. BAs in Biology. Clarissa Marie Banks. Ashley Nadia Bustani. Savannah F. Brunt. Amy Kramer. Carolyn Marie Cronin. Arvin J. Dixit. Stephanie Marie Drever. Amy L. Dunbar. Samantha L. Hanna. Hassan A. Khan. Casey M. Kidd, also Women's Studies. Catherine Marie Kite. Shelley M. Lehman, also Women's Studies. George E. Lovegrove, BA Biology. Jen Sharmika J. Marshall. Gregory Richard McKelvey. Natalie Virginia Nelson. Mark Logan Ryder. Adam Michael Sadowski, also chemistry. Haider Shahid.
Chemistry. PhD Chemistry, Jennifer Wiseman Mercer. Brent Reschke. Kathleen C. Reschke. Sujata Sengupta. Jigome May Yu. BA Biochemistry. Ruben M. Mabishke. Brianna Vecchio, BA Biochemistry and Chemistry. BS Chemistry, Jason Coral. BS Chemistry and Forensic and Investigative Sciences, Andrew Jason Bogus. Jake E. Gingerich. Paul E. Flood. Joseph D. Lynch. Justin Edward Moore. Philip Michael Pfeiffer. Also Forensic and Investigative Sciences, Caitlin Mackenzie Rice. Michelle Renee Robinson, also Forensic and Investigative Sciences. Larry Edward Rush. Edward R. Sisko, also Forensic and Investigative Sciences. Jessica Gerald Stonecker. BA Chemistry, Leah Adrian Eddy. Justin M. Famoso, also in BS in Biology. Jordan L. Godby, also BA in Biology. Richard Thomas McDonough, also Philosophy. Shalini Monigi, also in Philosophy. Stephen Namick. Lori Annette Rush. Kristen Marie Smith. Ian Anthony Townsend.
Masters in Communication Studies, Stephen Brothers Mugru. Stacy M. Downey, M.A. Velma DeWitt Lane, Bachelor's in Communication Studies. Carly Patricia Aliso. Elise Marie Belisario. Lauren Michelle Bending. Christian J. Brooks. Andrea A. Burke. Alexander D. Callacy. Tamiris Camargo. Mia Lynn Campano. Laura Ann Cannon. Heather Marie Carhart. Scott E. Carlisle. Andrew Burton Cavalier, also Liberal Arts and Sciences. Joel T. Clevenger. Megan Elizabeth Colas. Eric R. Cross. J. G. Cupp, also foreign languages. Anna Marie E. de la Garza. Alexandria Felicia Delano. Brian W. Dentoul. Jennifer S. DiDonato. Gina Lauren DeFalco. Matthew Anthony DeSilvio. Brian Dively. Casey Duffy. Jennifer Lynn Elphick. Shanta Christina Merryfair. Kate M. Flatley. Brooke Elizabeth Fletcher. Henry Eugene Fletcher. Catherine L. Frick. Marco L. Garces. Gregory Lowell Gardner. Jennifer M. Gordon. Ashley L. Graff. Lisa Adele Greenbaum. Kylene Elizabeth Hissam. Abby Nicole Humberson. Corey Drew Jones. James Joseph Kane. Caitlin Marie Kennedy.
Slow down just a little bit. There's a line backing up on the other side.
Stephen Kesser. Slow down a little. Kayla Nicole Kretschmer. Jason R. Levine. Joe E. Lieberger. Carly Carol McCarthy. Lauren D. McElroy. Devin Martin. Christopher Thomas Miller. Lindsay A. Muha. Dana L. Murphy. Stephen James Murphy. Leela Musaf. Jamal E. Newman, also Economics and Foreign Languages. Colleen Carey Orth. Ethan H. Pickrell. Emily Melinda Pitts. Lauren Rafter. Kirsten Lane Reed. Brianna Lee Reinig. Trevor Moore Robertson. Casey J. Ruggiero.
That's okay. We can slow down. That's okay.
Drop the pace.
It's okay. We can slow it down.
Okay. Pete Ward Reitel. Michelle A. St. Aubin. Danilo Sandoval, Timothy Park Sharkey, Robert Shearer, Brian Michael Sinchak, Matthew Roy Snyder, Lauren E. Squitieri, Audrey May Terry, Jennifer Nicole Triplett, Matthew R. Warnicki, Jamie Lee White, Amber K. Wilburn, also Women's Studies, Gregory Paul Willoughby, Kelly Winnick, Kira N. Yeager, Brandon W. Yerkes, Nicole Lee Zarkadis,
Computer economics? Okay. BA Economics. Ross M. Adrian. Anthony Benner. Michael Biedrzycki. Laura Conwell. Timothy Ryan Fitzgerald. William Paul Gray, Jr. Andrew Hinchman. Erin May Kluss. Stephanie Nicole Lindsay. Matthew S. Ponchin. Matthew Stephen Riska. Hussein Mohammed Sangrari. William Benjamin Stonelake. Jennifer C. Weber, also International Studies. Stephen D. Word. Hassan Jamal Wynn. Okay, Department of English. Okay, MA English, Jamie Beth Blanford. MFA Creative Writing, Patrick M. Fowler. Corey Elizabeth Frazier. Jason P. Freeman. Lauren Mackenzie Reed. Joseph A. Rote. BA English. Whit Alexander. Kimberly Alonso. John Woodward Armour. Joshua John Bayer. Danielle Veronica Bergamo. Haley Amanda Burdette. Laura Lee Burdette. Natasha Lauren Catino. Mallory Rachel Davis. Adrian Domenico. Anthony Bras Fabricator. Nicole Ann Friedman. Audrey M. Guire Simmons. Scott T. Hadinger. Margaret Elizabeth Hayslip. Joseph Allen Heister. Evan Johns. Jeremy D. Kins. Emily A. Coons. Ashley N. Litton. Brianna Leigh Lovell. Cordia M. Lucas. Austin Michael Maynard. Kelly Nicole McFarland. Kate L. Mariner. Marie Josephine Pellegrino. Kevin Christopher Phillips. Aaron Esther Simmons, also foreign languages. Amy Marie Smith, also liberal arts and sciences. Elizabeth Claire Staggers. Andrea Nicole Stout. Melinda Faye Walton. No, because the lady in the wheelchair hasn't gone. She seems to be with them. Go ahead. Foreign languages. MA in foreign languages. Liliana Acosta. Azucena Alvarez Alonso. Latifa Ahmed Alwanza. Maria Florencia Bensimo. Musa Berthe. Maria A. Cerdas. Suzanne Elizabeth Kraus. Elena Malvina Gondola. Benjamin Garcia. Samia Boualeg. Maria Gomez Martin. Heike Julia Greats. Amber Michelle Gregory. Alfonso Guerrero Ortega. Albina Kebabulina. Allison I. Larimer. Maria J. Lopez Sorina. Nayari Martinez Velez. Susanna Martha Quercy. Lara Rodriguez Duran. Juan Yu. Susana Villanueva Eguilis. BA Foreign Languages, Marissa F. Abreu. Bianca Andrea Alores. Brittany R. Barilla. Nathan C. Bennett. Megan Dawn Kobe. Sarah Ann Cora. Michael Joseph Christ, also International Studies. Joshua Ryan Daughtery. Joel Stephen Ferris. Ramon Garcia. Jillian Leigh Gruber. Samantha Joanne Highland. Brendan Anthony Kelly. Amber Nicole Lane. Stephanie L. Perez. Caitlin Renee Peters. John Lewis Pugh, also International Studies. Amanda Joelle Roberts. Mania Santinello. Kelsey Hasbrook Smith Lambombo. Sarah M. Smith Scheimer. Jeanette Catherine Vara. Chelsea Nicole Vargo. Rachel P. Wilson. Boyana Zepik.
MS in Forensic and Investigative Science, Kelly Elizabeth Edmiston. Deanna Wallace. Rachel M. Alsing. Tanya Alicia Ambrose. Sean Barlow. Sarah E. Boland. Ashley Marie Brumley, also biology. Amanda Marie Cadu, also chemistry. Christine Kane. Emily Renee Carpenter. Emily A. Cretion. Aaron R. Doherty. Emily Elizabeth Davis. Stephen E. Deasy, also biology. Leah K. Fett. Monica Lynn Giles, also sociology. Leandra Lynn Hone. Lucas Patterson Huff, also biology. Megan Marie Jones. Brianna Colleen Noth. Lisa Nicole Kubisco. Thomas J. Lilly. Rachel D. McCormick, also biology. Charlotte Ann Michalowski. Jennifer Lynn Miller. Megan Diane Mills, also biology. Jill Marie Aukenhaus. Casey Nicholas Alexa. Madison Lands Palmer. Meredith I. Seibert. Allison Lee Spiegel. Christina Ann Spiteri, also criminology and investigations. Megan Elizabeth Teachout. Krista Lynn Tyndall, also biology. Sheila Tobias. Tonya Marie Tooley. Summer Dawn Yonley. Danielle Elizabeth Yesko, also biology. MA in Geography, Lindsay Ann Deal. BA Geography, Brian J. Anderson. Andrea Fedoni. Christopher Matthew Gavin. David M. Grubeski. Kevin R. Kuhn. Gabriel Christian Lama. Tyrone T. Lettler. Andrew W. Oakes. Jonathan Dwayne Phoenix. Matthew Paul Ryan. Michael E. Savage. Robert E. Wetzel. PhD Geology, Lewis Anderson Cook. BS Geology, Timothy Brian Belasco. Lauren Elizabeth Black. Michael Burris. Keith Thomas Coffendaffer. Bongani Delamy. Samantha Ann Falcon. Christopher Scott Hitchcock. Jordan Philip May. Andrew C. Roberts. Tyler Spear. Luke Montgomery Spencer. BA Environmental Geoscience, Gregory Donald Gerber. PhD History, Catherine Leila Antolini. James Michael De Palma. Charles Belmont Keeney III. MA in History, Dana M. Kaldemeyer. Mary Anna Mead. Lauren Kristen Thompson. Ashley Meredith Whitehead. Mohammed Joseph Abiganan. Robert Lee Belcher. Christopher R. Belfour. Derek Richard Bell. James Morgan Blake. Elena M. Blythe. Sarah M. Bope. Charles Edward Camper. Samuel J. Ciardi. Christopher J. Colosi. Matthew Dean Cox. Stephen Dennis Adamo. Corey Scott DeCastro. John D. Ferguson. Kyle J. Garvey. Stephen A. Guthrie. Shannon R. Harrington. Jason S. Hedrick. James P. Horst, also International Studies History. Michael J. Keisner. Ryan F. Kamensky. Justin M. Cans. Crystal V. Comindo. Andrew Joseph Lavin. Thomas Stewart Leisure. Thaddeus J. Light. Amanda Lofstad. Nathaniel J. Luchins. Robert W. Mary. Stephen Talmadge Masters. Caitlin S. Matson. Elizabeth M. Mattingly. Ryan Thomas McKillop. Robert Adam Mignosi. Megan R. Moore, also Women's Studies. Weston Ross Mullenix. Ross Michael Nettervelt, also philosophy. Zachary Evan Offenberger. Michael A. Price. Matthew T. Richards. Michael K. Sheldon. Anish Sumpali. Lisa Marie Stender. Adam R. Sussman, also sociology. Ryan Murray Turner. Jared Martin Euler. Hugo Stephen Velastagi. Benjamin Miller Welton, also English. Go ahead. I'll try. Sandra Nana Danswa. Melanie A. Aruda. Did I say international studies? Okay. Lauren Melissa Ashcroft, also foreign languages. Mohammed Fernan Bangura. Heather M. Bakina. Brandon Drew Boning. Cheryl A. Burkhart. Kyle A. Cohen. Joshua Jacob Deem, also philosophy. Anthony Rollo de la Rosa. Stephen Ann DeLong, also Slavic and East European Studies and Foreign Languages. Rebecca Lee Datellis, also Political Science and Foreign Languages. Kara F. Dre. Jamie Michael Doriate. James Lowell Dezuris, also foreign languages. Brittany Landreth Erskine. Emily Ann Herring. Jasmine Tatiana Hicks. Tanisha Rasita Hill. Min Siop Kim. Natalia R. Kreml. Lieutenant Ian Clancy Lanigan, also criminology. Brian Kent Martino, also history. Peter Walker Noel. Derek Christian Flager. Jonathan Keen Prang. Ayaka Sano. Jessica Ann Simeone. Matthew Allen Smith. Peter John Talixon, also economics. Dimitri Vernick, Brian W. Werner, Corey G. Westbury, Derek Winfield White, Bridget Kelly Winstanley, also liberal arts and sciences. Liberal arts and sciences, Sandra Jean Hare, Alexandra Susan Morgan, MS Mathematics, Matthew J. Fiegel, Mary Elizabeth Given, Jennifer May Maynor, Elise Christine Yeager, BS Industrial Mathematics and Statistics, Jen Hao Yap, BS in Mathematics, Thomas Francis Barker, Michael K. Brewster, both math and industrial math and statistics. Rebecca Ann Dolph, also religious studies. Carly Renee Gregson. Benjamin Todd Lidville. Jad Ramadan. Mark G. Sander. Stephen Philip Silber. Evan Scott Wallace.
Multidisciplinary Studies, Jared N. Cavelli, Timothy Santanzo, Stephen Ray Biller, Harry Alexander Bissell, Jennifer Marie Allen, Brittany N. Anderson, Colin B. Andrews, Theodore Warner Bloomgust, Deshaun Christopher Butler. Rebecca Isabella Campbell, Molly Beth Chamberlain, Megan Elizabeth Conahan, Anthony J. Cobella, also psychology, Morgan A. Covert, Keith L. Dopp, Andrew G. Dragonetti, Daniel R. Flynn, Matthew Taylor Gerber, Barrington D. Gore, Whitney Ann Gray, Jason D. Green, Ashley Ann Guerra. Jeremy Daniel Hammer. Julius R. Hodkins. Stephanie Michelle Hirsch. Tony Dang Nguyen. Ariel Dushan Jackson. Danita Dawn Jones. Alfred Lee. Erica Nicole Lesser. Lori Michelle Lagon. Anthony J. Macho. Jordan Wallace Ramage. Brian Lene Ross. Eric Paul Schneck. Michelina Ann Schrader. Sheena Nicole Simon. Gabriel Wellington Smith. Shannon Lynn Smoot. Marin Ann Snyder. Michael Nash Staggers. Pamela Jane Stelfox. Laura J. Storjonen. Chad Courtney Stradwick. Thomas H. Strike. Evan Douglas Whitney. Jessica Sarah Weeder. Danielle Elise Weirman. Laura M. Yerup. Blake R. Yunt. Beth Ann Yurkovich. BMDS, Holly Jeanette Alvarez. Okay, Adetola Awu Fisayo. Michael Ayula. Nicholas Hall Baum. Jessica L. Burdine. Brian Keith Berger. Drew Alexander Berlin. Jessica Ann Benora. Brandon M. Boyer. Jet G. Castor. Joshua Derek Coker. Brandon M. Clark. Ryan Todd Chadwick. Donald Michael Morehouse. Taylor Lee Sayela. Seth Michael Cook. Clayton R. Dar. John Marshall Davis. Stephanie Lauren DeBolt. Angelo A. DeSico. Brian P. Devi. Ryan M. DeAndrea. Alexander J. Dilger. Ronald C. Dillo III. Sunita Doktorsky. Gregory Douglas Donkerbrook. Brittany M. Fair. Eric Jeffrey Fornoff. Kendall L. Fowler. Carolyn Leigh Hicks. Kelsey P. Bartlett. Julia Diane Henley. Alexandra Dion Kriske. Brendan S. Gilbert. Bryce M. Goodall. Joseph Blaine Greco. John Robert Gaines. Brianne Nicole Garland. Cassandra D. George. Lauren Eleanor Hall. John Douglas Hardesty. Emily S. Harless. Jacqueline N. Harris. Colleen Mary Hearn. Jamie Lee Holm. Tracy Renee Hovatter. Carrie E. Humphreys. Christopher C. Carwath. Sarah Kathleen Kennedy. Justin Raymond Kaloje. Joshua R. Konigsberg. Eric Michael Livorio. Brian A. Cohen. Colby D. Leckie. Paul Menhart Kronk. Jesselyn Rebecca Layfield. Gregory Allen Lichtenberger. Clint Michael McGuire. Nicole K. Mayu. Michelle E. Massimiani. Amy Dawn Ozole. Brian Kenneth McAdoo. Jason Thomas McCanney. Lindsay Lee McConnell. Ryan C. McGovern. Kevin Jacob Shimrock. Patrick C. Boney. Scott H. Miller. Salvatore A. Maltabano. Sierra L. Morgan. Coden J. Merck. Nicholas Drew Noshul. Okay. Mandela Nademo Naichi. Kristen L. Ord. Joe Charles Parsons. Catherine Irene Peer. Donna L. Petit. Thomas John Poloni. Abby C. Rains. Stephanie D. Roof. Melissa C. Rogers. John J. Recchio III. Christopher Michael Russo. Robert C. Russo. Samuel B. Schwartz. Erica Renee Shockey. Jacob Lawrence Stusser. Philip T. Hopkins. Felicia Lynn Smith. Lauren Siegfried. Kayla I. Stemple. Preston L. Simmons II. Gavin D. Whiteley. Rebecca Dawn Scotchell. Benjamin J. Stanislav. Daniel John Tedesco. Brittany Jean Vance. Christopher Michael Walker. Rachel Catherine Warnicki. David M. Upton. Emily Ann Waldy. Alexander C. Warren. Joshua R. Zontek. Joanna Lee Withrow. Hassan Raza. Andrew S. Snow. Chris Elliott Wright. Jason M. Zuccari.
Okay, go ahead. BA Philosophy, Hillary Ann Chatterton. Nicholas A. First. James A. Green. Molly M. Morgan. Nathan T. Pearson, also biochemistry, biology. Suzette R. Pijot. Tristan Ambrose Plummer, also history. Ashley Lynn Stack. Daniel Raymond Tucker, also psychology. Jennifer Dawn Walls, also English. Okay, physics. PhD Physics, Saeed Hushmandiar. BS Physics. Austin Armstrong Anuta Darling, also mathematics. Bryant Lee Doss, also computer science. Jake Fennick, also computer science. Andrew Earl Higgins. Mary Kylie Underwood, also mathematics. Nicholas Frederick Weston. Stanislav S. Edel. Mehran Mohebi. Tabitha E. Smith, also sociology and anthropology. Just wait till they finish shaking. Okay, go ahead. Okay, PhD, political science. Anthony K. Fleming. Fabio Frank. Nikki Cope. BA Political Science. Zemas Katsela Andargachu. Jessica L. Bailey, also foreign languages. Travis Dole Britton. Stephen Luke Bruner. Brittany Rianne Birch. Andrea R. Burris. Edgar Lewis Buster. Jason K. Butts. Simeon R. Cerise. Shireen Compton. Scott Edward Kovitz. Whitney Marie Kress. Amy B. Cutlip. Catherine Nicole Dean. Kristen Jean DeMunn. Andrew J. Draper. Michael D. Dunham. Paul Joseph DuPont. Kevin Joseph Dutch. Joshua Michael Elliott. Lauren Ann Farrell. Scott A. Fike. Michael Richard Fogarty. Matthew F. Ford. Tiffany Q. Ford. Michael L. Frank. Andrew L. Furr. Joshua Anthony Gote. Anthony L. Haskins. Lindsay A. Highsmith. Chase Orion Holcomb. Rebecca Kathleen Huffman. Andrew E. Jocks. Joanna Janicki. Spencer Jewell. Brian P. Keefe. Elizabeth Marguerite Lafayette. Candace Jade Lifang. Charles S. Lambert. Julia Lebhertz. Jamie Lemon. Christian Aguirre Leacock. Chad Michael Lowers. Catherine A. Manfuso. Amy L. Mankins. Brian R. McInerney. Kara Kathleen Miller. Katie Marie Nyland. Eric Julius Ordos. Joshua Howard Peters. Angelo Antonio Martinez, also history. Amy Elizabeth Powers. Megan L. Powers. Elaine Maureen Rogers. Amanda Lynn Rogerson. Matthew Ruhulali. Courtney A. Rudy. Alyssa Christine Rudolph. Philip C. Seville. Stephanie E. Scarborough. Zachary Day Shackelford, also philosophy. Charles Garrett Shields. Joshua K. Smallwood, also foreign languages. W. Connor Sorrells. Anthony R. Smith. Jonathan Tyler Storage. William B. Turner. Arthur M. Twigg, also history. Jeremy Brian Watts. Yolanda Maria Wiggins, also women's studies.
Psychology. Where did the faculty? Natalie Rose Bruner, PhD psychology. Salvatore Pete Insana. Joseph Patrick Maffal. Jonathan M. Slazak. Tracy Ann Thomas. Paula Rose Prentice. BS Psychology. Lindsay Caroline Adams. Courtney L. Baranow. Jonathan A. Bond. John C. Cleary. Jeffrey S. Cook. Chelsea R. Costello. Emily Ann Crow. Jennifer C. DeWitt. BA Psychology. Robin L. Exline. BS Psychology. Audrey Ashton File. William Russell Foodie. Kira Gandolfi. Cassandra Jo Guerin. Selena Garced. Angela L. Corral. Lacey Dawn Grady. Joshua Michael Harkins. Molly J. Jenkins. Christine Elizabeth Kimner. Ryan Matthew Klee. Amber Marie Lanigan. Regan Whitney Last. Devin Joseph Longo. Marianne Amy Moore. Karen Paige Myers. Sierra Eden Pauley. Sarah A. Sager. Allison M. Schenholzer. Lindsay Michelle Smith, also statistics. Melissa Aaron Spear, also English. Andrea Alicia St. Clair. Vincent Michael Solivano. Okay. Nutha Uda Yangnang. Anne Marie Webb. BA Psychology. Erica E. Abraham. Matthew J. Austin. Sarah Elise Barnett. Okay. Matthew John Basil. Gabriela Blaskovikovia. Erica Elaine Bach. Amy Nicole Bryant. Edgar James Burrows. Kisma L. Button. Christine L. Carpenter. Nina M. Kerrigan. Brandy Lee Cheatham. Nikki L. Costa. Tiffany Nicole Creek. Megan Kristen Cremens. Aaron T. Croft. Julia A. Krauser. Carrie Ann Cunningham. Sarah Elizabeth Dietz, also Criminology and Investigations. Rachel E. Dillon. Paul R. Donovan. David T. Estep, also multidisciplinary studies and political science. Ashley Lynn Field. Emily Chapin Gallery. Brittany Marie Glass. Sharon J. Glassburn. Excuse me. Lindsay A. Gorley. Renee Nicole Hogmeyer.
It's a tough one, just read it.
Okay. Alivar Kijamblif Ibrahim. Close? Melinda Jean Cass. Aaron Kendrick. Austin J. Kirker. Sarah C. King. Sierra S. Little. Kevin T. Mackin. Danielle M. Mallow. Lauren Renee Marker. Brian Edgun Marshall. Holly G. McComas. Erica Rachel McAtee. Louise A. Mahaya. Lauren Elizabeth Moldovan. Joseph Michael Monahan. Heidi Marie Muller. Brooke Nussbaum. Allison Patricia Parks. Melanie Christine Peer. Angela M. Puerto Rica. Ashley B. Quinton. Natalie Lynn Robinson. Nikki Alexandra Rollins. Rigby Dawn Romage. Christopher Michael Root. Sophie Lynn Schwartz. Carmen M. Sapetka. Amanda L. Shanklin. Christina L.J. Shunk. Mary Elizabeth Skivington. Catherine N. Smith.
I know. How's the trade? I don't like this.
Kimberly Ann Smith. Laura D. Smith. Lawrence B. Sobek III. Andrea Leigh Strope. Shannon V.L. Shabo. Kristen Leah Thacker. Justin P. Timmons, also multidisciplinary studies. Elizabeth R. Wagner. Monica A. Waitkus. Terry Jason Weimer. Robert Andrew Wheeler. Tamaro D. Wilson. Adam Farrell Young.
So no public administration, I guess. No. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, go ahead. Regents Bachelor of Arts. Bambi Annette Bevel. Emery P. Baum. Ginger Elaine Brantner. Jonathan Wade Britton. Scott C. Cannon Blaisher. Angeline Michelle Creed. Okay. LaCassa A. Dean. David Morgan Fisher. Zachary Vincent Flitt. Dreama Hewitt. James Eric Johnson. John Andrew Kincaid. Susan L. Kitzmiller. Angela Adorn Laffera. Stephanie Hurl Lane. William David Lanham. Cameron Quaid Law. Rhonda Lee Lowers. Michael Brandon Laurie. Milford Tyler Mathis. Rebecca Louise Miller. Madison H. Moser. Andrea P. Rittenhouse. Louis W. Shepard, Jr. Michelle J. Shockley. Kimberly Denise Strait. Patricia Ann Thrasher. Rasan Roland Vanderpool. Stephen R. Wright.
I'm graduating too.
Sally Ann Wyatt.
Did they call your name? Yes, we did.
This is religious studies. BA in Religious Studies, Glenn Harrison Anderson. Jonathan Scott Veditz. Master's in Public Administration. Gordon John Burns. Aaron C. Kostenbader. Chelsea M. Cross. Angela C. Faulkner. Victoria Leslie Mara. Mary Ann Meza. Megan Krista Norris. Sarah E. Shanholzer. Jessica N. Weber. Sheila Westfall. Ebony S. Winfrey. So do you have social work first? Okay. MSW, Masters of Social Work. Carmen Rose Renteria Abreu. Terry L. Chapman. Marlena Nicole Chestnut. Sandra K. Corbett. Deborah Tucker DeRegan. Ashley Everson. Courtney Marie Fox. Zachary Tyler Francis. Jennifer Ann Gurman Cassidy. Alexandra Nicole Kowalchuk. C.Y. Tiffany Mann. Reagan Suzanne Mugia Magahan. Justin M. Miller. Hannah Elizabeth Musser Thurman, also MPA Public Administration. Chi Huang Nodu. Tyler B. Parnell. Devon Olivia Pearl. Christy Dawn Repack. Jared T. Rowan. Elizabeth Marie Shahan. Alafia Ronell Talbot. Tasha Angelica Morgana Wamsley. Heather Louise Young. Bachelor's of Social Work. Audrey Alcala. Brittany Michelle Bates. Tiffany Nicole Buckingham. Melissa Suzanne Carpenter. Mary Melissa Cleveland. Angelina Maria Kramer. Caitlin Patrice Krager. Ashley Blair Dixon. Nicole Renee Gardner. Sadie Swain Green. Amanda Lynn Honecker. Stephanie Lynn Hunt. Christina Lee Johnson. Ashley A. Keating. Kelly Ann Nealand. Emily Rose McDermott. Michelle A. McGilton. Carrie Jo McMillian. Alexandra Lynn Murray. Elise C. Pearson. Lauren M. Ramos. Teresa Sue Rice. Jerry Samantha Salty. Tess Jordan Schneiderman. Raquel C. Thompson. Meredith Lee Turley. Carly Wares. Melissa A. Williams. Emma Jane Wright.
Sociology, Criminology. Rebecca Ann Flynn. Megan D. Vizdos. Jason Russell Ryan. Jeffrey John Tranguch. David W. Anderson, also Sociology and Anthropology. Natalie M. Arusho. Claire E. Catalano. Sean Robert Crumlick. Lindsay Nicole Gordon. Brandon W. Hetrick. Lieutenant Warren Jacob Hitchcock. Travis E. Johnson. Jacob Gordon Lichtenwaldner. Colleen R. Lynn. Jessica Patrice Marinaro. Brooke Welch Marsh. James Scott McEwen. Melissa Jean Miller. Katie Lynn Nevin. Kaylee Marie Phelps. Dale William Soller. Christina Gabriella Sandy. Derek Preston Stemple, also Geography. Courtney Dominique Stewart. Benjamin Jamil Ahmed. BA Criminology and Investigations, Patrick Andrew Allen. Nicholas J. Arbia. Katerina C. Austin. Matthew Edward Baranski. Viral P. Bott. Anthony Joseph Biancanello. Lieutenant Richard Charles Bielecki. Jacob Morgan Bostic. Natalia Alicia Bottini. David Stewart Campanella. Eric Tyler Carter. Stephen A. Kaufman. Colleen Denise Conway. Margaret Daniel. Christopher D. Davies. Ashley Nadine Davis. Ryan Anthony DeMarco. Brian W. Donovan. Lieutenant Herbert Wade Doss, Jr. Sean Michael Dusso. Takira Janae Eason. Carlin Pamela Fireline. Edward C. Gatos III. Brian C. Gillespie. Lieutenant Lance M. Gower. Erica Ashley Hall. Lance Barton Hamilton. Whitney Elizabeth Harder. Joshua P. Harvey. Michael Scott Hogan. Courtney N. Hayhurst. Tina Lynn Hepworth. Joseph Carl Hicks. Ashley E. Hill. Samantha Hoffman. Brian Holman. John M. Hooper. Sarah Michelle Johnson. Afton Cottrell Jones. Chase Adams Keffer. Austin Howard LaFollette. Andrew Patrick Lang. Cheryl Lynn Lance. Benjamin James Litvack. John William Lively. Joseph Francis Martin. Sean P. McCarthy. Andrew Robert McDaniel. Robert Matthew McCown. Lauren Page Miller. Sable B. Miller. Gilbert Branch Moranian. Nicholas L. Molchin. Michael Thomas Ostrander. Matthew Louis Pasilla. Sharad P. Patel. Nicole Marie Perrine. Brian Richard Raven. Brandon Michael Reed. Brian Gerard Scott. Kristen Louise Shea. Jeffrey Allen Shears. Samantha Lauren Slater. Chelsea Amelia Slifko. Nicole Alexandria Smith. Ruthie M. Sommers. Joshua Lee Somerville. Camichelle Maria Spencer. Joanna Lillian Thompson. Amanda Lauren Tomlin. Corey Walter Ugolik. Jeffrey Charles Upson. Caleb J. Van Kirk. Chelsea Elizabeth Ward. Timothy J. Widener. Brittany Ann Weimer. Michael D. Weinstein. Allison S. Welch. Richard Cody Winters. Lauren Brittany Yieldhall. Andrew T. York. Jonathan Hilliard Wyke. Rachel Ann Yost. BS Computer Science, Zachary Colin Murray. MS Statistics, Ajit Pandya. Zoe Sangjus. BA in Women's Studies, Eileen George, also psychology. Rita Ann Snyder.
Will the class of 2010 please stand? Candidates from the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences, as students in WVU's largest and most diverse academic unit, you represent a wide range of disciplines. Regardless of whatever career you pursue, you will bring certain qualities: the ability to think clearly, communicate effectively, discover and analyze information, and continue learning for a lifetime. Among you are future scientists, writers, educators, lawyers, doctors, and other professionals. Your studies in the literatures and humanities, mathematics and natural sciences, or social and behavioral sciences will prepare you for many careers. Just as important, it will prepare you for a life as an informed citizen, active community leader, and lifelong learner. The Eberly College's exceptionally well-qualified faculty members have given you an intellectually challenging and rigorous educational experience that will enable you to succeed in the 21st century's global society. Now, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. As university's newest graduates, you may move your tassels from to the left side of your cap as a symbol of your achievement. Congratulations, class of 2010.
And you may be seated. You may be seated. I want to invite Jason Zakari, the outgoing president of the WVU Student Government Association and member of the Eberly College class of 2010, graduating today with a multidisciplinary studies degree, to say a few words to his Eberly colleagues.
Good afternoon, parents, families, distinguished guests, and my fellow graduates. Today is a very special day for us. One, because we finally have one of these, and two, because it's the end of this journey and the beginning of our next. We've been here through 4 or 5 interesting years, having seen 2 BCS victories in the Sugar and Fiesta Bowl, our first ever Big East championship in basketball, we traveled a country road that had not been traveled to the Final Four in nearly 50 years. In our time here, we've seen 4 university presidents, 3 provosts, congratulated 5 Truman Scholars and 7 Goldwater Scholars. We have seen a lot of growth and change in our time here, but we've been here all along. Along the way, we've made new friends, experienced incredible things, and before we knew it, we were planning for this day. So here we are. Our time here has been marked by change, and it has once been said that the only thing that stays the same is that everything changes. I want to thank my parents, Alan and Lisa, my brother Jared, and my sister Sarah for all of their love and support and all they have done for me to have made it here today. And I want to thank all of your parents, grandparents, and loved ones for all they have done for you to have made it here today. Let's give them one more round of applause. The important thing now is where we go from here. We've learned to deal with adversity, achieve new things, and make a difference. As a great country singer, Kenny Chesney, once sung in one of his songs, "It was my life and it was fun. Another season of my life is done. Another race I'm glad I got to run. Another chapter of my life is over. No, I'm never going to feel like this again. Time rushing by me like the wind. Never be as young as I was then. No, I'm never going to feel like that again." I don't think any of us will ever feel like we felt here. This has been our life for the past 4 years, and we will miss this place. Never forgetting our first steps on campus, freshman orientation, preparing for the Mountaineers to charge the field before the first kickoff of football, and then the season's beginning to change, and the leaves and fall beginning to approach with homecoming and Mountaineer Week, and then the lighting of Woodburn Hall just before we leave for winter break. Then starting to thaw after winter and spring's buds beginning to bloom, and riding down Grand Street where life has returned and students are out in the streets and out on the porches in Sunnyside. Remember cramming in the library for our finals. And finally, the season has changed again, and we are walking across this stage today. There is no question we have come full circle. So yes, it has been a journey through the seasons and a journey in life. We've learned a lot, had some fun, and are prepared to make a difference on the world. And as we think about how fast the past 4 years have gone, I want to end with a quote by Michael O'Lusher, who once said, "I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you are the pilot." May we all fly the best we can, and no matter what flight we take in life, we will always be Mountaineer. Good luck to all of you in your journeys, and let's go Mountaineers.
And finally, I invite Jane Donovan, a 1977 graduate of the Department of Political Science, to provide the alumni charge to our graduates. Over the past 17 years, Dr. Donovan has written 7 books and many articles on American religious history and Washington, D.C. history. And currently, she is affiliated with our Religious Studies program at WVU, and she recently, like you, completed a degree. But this one was a doctor's degree at Wesley Seminary in Washington, D.C. Jane?
On behalf of all of the graduates of West Virginia University who have preceded you, I extend to each member of the class of 2010 congratulations and best wishes. From this day forward, your names are forever linked to West Virginia University. The quality of a university is known by the reputation of its graduates. When employers see that your education has prepared you to excel in the workplace, that will enhance WVU's reputation and the value of your own degree. You will be this institution's best ambassadors. With that in mind, I offer this charge to you, the class of 2010. Work hard. Take risks. Don't fear making mistakes. Put your education to work improving our society. Develop a global perspective and apply your efforts to creating a more peaceful and a more just world. Honor the sacrifices of those who came before you and do all you can to help those who will follow. Pay it forward. Above all, never stop learning. Read, explore, travel, and expand your circle of friends. As you build new friendships, don't forget to nurture the friendships you have made at WVU. Maintain your connection with West Virginia University. Show your Mountaineer pride, not just on game days, but every day, in every place life takes you. Return to campus when you can to visit all of us who are your favorite professors and relive those memories that will only get more and more precious the older you get. As you leave today, consider the words of esteemed former WVU faculty member Maurice Brooks. He wrote, "Thus it is with those nurtured in Appalachia. They leave, but they look back, remembering pleasant things. The land has claimed them, and its ties will not be severed." At West Virginia University, you will always have a home among the hills. God bless you and good luck.
Class of 2010, parents, family members, friends, faculty, and honored guests, please rise as we join together in the singing of the words of our alma mater, written in 1938 by WVU graduate student Louis Corson. During the singing of the alma mater, it's customary for gentlemen to remove their hats, and you will find the words to the alma mater on the inside cover of the program. And at the conclusion of the alma mater, we will have an orderly recession, followed by a reception in the Shell building adjacent to the Coliseum. I invite our graduates, families and friends, faculty and staff to join us at this reception. Thank you.